Mother 3. It's out there now. Lara Kate Dale has said it's coming. Mother 3 is on the way. January 12th, we are going to see a presentation that shows Mother 3 is coming to the Switch, to the United States, with a full translation, an official translation. It's going to be on the Switch. And for any of you younger viewers who maybe missed the entire Super Nintendo run or even the 64 run, trust me on this, Mother 3 coming to the Switch is a big deal. Now, if you live in Japan, it may not be as big of a deal because you've had Mother 3. It came out on the Game Boy Advance, and you've probably played it and beat it several times at this point. But for gamers outside of Japan, this is a big deal. The following for the Mother series is huge. It's a major cult classic, and it's going to sell well on the Switch if that's the case, and it could honestly move systems just because this game is on the Switch with an official translation. But if you're not really, like I said, aware of this game, let me give you a very, very brief history lesson on the Mother series and why Mother 3 is a big deal. So even if you're a younger gamer, like I said, maybe you did not grow up in the 90s, you're in the 2000s, maybe you're like, 360, PS3 was your first real big system that you were aware of at the time that was going on. Me, myself, I was in the 90s. I was a 90s kid when it came to games, and of course, I got really into RPGs with the Super Nintendo because I still, to this day, think that's where the best RPGs was on that Super Nintendo. So many came out, and it was great. And Earthbound, of course, found a good niche on the Super Nintendo. A lot of people liked that game. It was an RPG that kind of brought more casual gamers into the mix. It wasn't super, I guess, intimidating for people to come in and play. It was very bright, very, very quirky RPG with some legitimately funny jokes. And overall, it was great. It was an awesome RPG to play through. The characters were awesome, and it was just a fun time overall. Now, Earthbound didn't set the world on fire in terms of sales. It sold okay, but Nintendo definitely did not get the most out of their investment with that game, and I think that really hurt Mother 3's development over time. In fact, Mother 3 was so close to never being released, it was insane. It was actually originally being designed for the N64's disk drive system. Remember that thing that came out in Japan only, bombed pretty quickly, and never saw the light of day in the United States? Well, except for that one unit that was found in, I think over in Washington, but for the most part, there was no actual retail release of the unit. And this really put Mother 3 in a bad position, and the producer, Toei, and Miyamoto, Iwata, they really wanted this game to get out there, but it couldn't. According to them, they ran into a lot of technical issues on the Nintendo 64, despite there being like a full trailer, gameplay trailer, and everything out there that shows the graphics and shows how the game was going to look. They said they ran into a lot of pitfalls during technical development, and they weren't able to get it out the door. So when the disk drive unit was essentially discontinued, the production came to pretty much a complete halt. There's like 30% of the game was done, and after that, it just kind of disappeared for a little while. So fans of Earthbound, of course, are just really sad because that was their spiritual successor to a game that they really loved. I mean, Earthbound really has that following where people genuinely love the game. They love the characters. So fast forward a bit, and we get to, again, the creator of Toei actually takes Earthbound and Mother, the original one, so Mother 1 and 2, and he releases it as like a compilation cartridge for the Game Boy Advance. And during all of this, at the end of one of the trailers they were showing, they do say, hey, Mother 3 is on the way. We're making it. It's coming to the Game Boy Advance in Japan. So of course, this trailer airs, and people freak out because Mother 3 is coming out. It's actually being developed and created, and we're going to see it on the Game Boy Advance in Japan. So people outside of Japan automatically assume that it is going to then be ported and translated for the United States and the rest of the world. That never actually happened. So the game comes out in Japan. It does okay. Again, it doesn't set the world on fire. I think that's the big problem with the Mother and the Earthbound series, whatever you want to call it, is that it doesn't perform as well as the other franchises. So it's kind of left behind a little bit because, of course, sales is what generates things like sequels and more development time. So, of course, we as gamers, what do? We take matters in our own hands, and an awesome, a very talented group takes Mother 3 and translated it completely from Japanese to English, did an awesome job on the script. Everything was done well, and the game made sense. It still kept its... If you play Mother 3, it has a very, very emotional storyline. I mean, the game really touches on the darker side of what could be considered the Mother universe. Of course, Earthbound was much happier, much quirkier. It was a lot of fun to play, whereas Mother 3 kind of takes you through an emotional roller coaster through a bunch of different characters that you play as, and it's great. I don't want to spoil anything, but if you really want to play what's to be a darker version, essentially, of Earthbound, Mother 3 is great. I almost like to compare it to like Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, where Majora's Mask is definitely much darker than Ocarina of Time. Majora's Mask deals with so much more in the way of like death, same as Mother 3. I don't want to, again, spoil anything, but there is some serious stuff that happens in Mother 3 that, honestly, you can see the characters really go through changes, and just the way they react to things is awesome. So we get this translation out the door, and of course, immediately, people who develop reproduction cards, especially in China, start producing this game on the cartridge. You can buy it, you can play it on your Game Boy Advance, and from what I could see, especially since if you go to like conventions, retro game conventions, they always seem to have a vendor selling these cartridges for relatively cheap. They're not usually expensive, and I always see people buying them. So to me, the audience has always been there for this game. And what's really exciting about this is that Mother 3 has a chance right now. That's all the fans have ever asked for, is give this game a chance in some form, whether it be digital or physical. Digital, of course, I think is a little easier for Nintendo to swallow, to say, hey, let's try it. And this is a different Nintendo if they actually do this. Now, Laura Kate Dale has gone on record and said, it's coming. January 12th, you're going to see it. Emily Rogers has talked about Mother 3 several times on different occasions. So this tells me, because of how rabid this fan base is, if they are wrong, it's not going to be good. I'll say that. Their credibility is going to be ripped to shreds. Even if they've been right about other stuff, this fan base will really rip them down. Okay, and they are trying their best to bring us leaks. But if like I said, if it's wrong, I don't think the fan base will forgive them for it, because we've been teased with Mother 3 for a long time as gamers. It really has. We've seen it. We've hoped it's going to come to the Wii U. Never did. And now we hear it's coming to the Switch. And like I said, I could see these fans buying this thing up just to play this game. I could see them supporting it, because I think everybody would like to see, at least if you're an RPG fan, if you're a fan of Earthbound, you would love to see that fourth game in the series. And what better way to show Nintendo that we want it by just buying it on the Virtual Console. Even if you're not going to completely play it, maybe you've already beaten it in cartridge form or through an emulator and ROM, if you want to see that next game in the series, buy it on the Switch. That's how you tell companies you like these games, with your wallet. And it's probably not going to come out and be expensive. Really, it won't. I bet you it'll be like $15, $20. I can't imagine they're going to release it as like a $40 game. Guys, I am excited. I'm not one of those rabid fan base people that's going to go around tearing people down if this is not the case. But I am a big fan of the Mother series. I'm a big fan of Earthbound. I always have been. I love the game on the Super Nintendo. I played and beat it several times, and it's always been fun. Mother 3 was great. I had an awesome experience playing through that. And if it does come to the Switch, if these leaks and these rumors are correct, which I really hope they are, because this fan base will explode if not, I think it's going to do well on the marketplace. I completely recommend you guys check it out. If you get the Switch, maybe you missed Earthbound, you don't need to play Earthbound to play Mother 3. It's almost like the Final Fantasies that release in tandem, where they don't completely have a connection between worlds, but they have common things. So look towards this January 12th presentation, because if that comes out, if there's a crowd there, I don't know how this is going to work. I don't think anyone still does. But if there's a crowd there, I could see a good reaction from the crowd just for Mother 3. So keep this in mind, guys. I'm really hoping. I'm sure some of you guys are too. And let's get to this presser, because I'm sure more leaks are going to start showing up, getting closer to it. I just want to get there. Let's see the games. Let's move on to getting the system. And I hope, man, I hope these games are coming. The ones that we've seen, the ones we've heard about. But guys, I'll see you tomorrow morning for Newswave. Hopefully we get some more news coming out. We can have a pretty cool discussion, especially about any of the other leaks coming out. So guys, I will see you next time.